What is up, everybody? My name is Creature Play, and welcome to my newest episode in my Upgrade Battle series. Today I'm going to take the same player and I'm going to put two of his cards up against each other to find out if it's worth upgrading. Today I've got the 95 Honors Edition Todd Gurley against the 88 overall Todd Gurley Football Outsiders card. For the most part, there isn't one stat that has more than two difference. Really, the only thing that I found that made the overall so high compared to the 88 was their awareness, which for the most part is a completely useless stat. But as for the important stats that we care about, like speed, agility, acceleration, like I said, there is not one that has more than two difference between themselves. As of Tuesday, March 29th, the price difference between the two cards on Xbox One is $282,000 and $257,000 on PS4. So with that said, let's get to it as we put the 88 overall Football Outsider Todd Gurley against the 95 overall Honors Edition Todd Gurley head-to-head in this week's episode. So if you're not familiar with the format of this, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of the two cards and I'm going to run them through the same exact play and the same different situations, and I'm going to see how different they really play. First, I started off with the 88 Gurley doing halfback dives. Now, while I will say that both of the Gurleys are great running backs, they really shine on the outside. Running up the middle is something that I didn't really have much success with either of the Gurleys, the 88 or the 95. For the most part, they can get you a few yards, but they're not going to be breaking any tackles or trucking over anybody for the most part. Now, while neither of them will be breaking a lot of tackles on the inside, they both still fell forward a decent amount of times. But as you've probably seen so far from the first category, there really isn't that much of a difference between the two. They both hit the middle with the same amount of speed, acceleration, and force, and like I said, fell forward just about the same. Here I tried inside zones, which get run a lot, and although they both had much more success on inside zones because of the room that they have opposed to just running straight up the middle, I still didn't find a difference between either of the two. So yes, inside zones will work better for either of the Gurleys, but overall there wasn't a difference between either of the two. Same amount of broken tackles, same force, same speed, same burst, no difference between the two. So now that we've seen how they both run on the inside and discovered that there is no difference between that same area, let's move out to the outside. This play I ran was a strong toss, which a lot of people run, and I found first of all that the Gurleys have much more success on the outside opposed to the inside, and this is where their acceleration and speed really get to shine. Although Gurley may seem like he doesn't have a frame that accommodates a speed back, he definitely has that boost to get around on the outside as long as you can rely on your blockers to pick up the correct people. So yes, both Gurleys definitely do play better on the outside and on tosses, but unsurprisingly, there was no difference at all. I didn't feel that the 95 got around any faster than the 88. I didn't feel like there was a boost that the 88 wasn't getting. For the most part, I had to double check every time I was running to make sure that the correct one was in for my tests. I again didn't feel any difference between the two at all. They were both able to show off their identical speed and acceleration and their agility with their jukes. Now, although 01 Trap is considered an inside run, I like this run a lot and found that he had much better success as opposed to a dive because of the amount of space that the trap presents to you and the amount of opportunities you have for directions to run. The thing to remember with both of the Gurleys, if you want to make them play well, you just have to get them out in the open and then they can do their thing. They won't be trucking anybody over, but if you can get a good 5-yard radius around them, that will give them the space they need to show off that juke that they both have, their spinning, and that sharp cut that both of them have that can be deadly if you know how to use it correctly. Even with all that said, chalk that category up to another one where there was no difference at all and they played identically. Now, screen passes are by far what Gurley has the most success with. This is what gives him the most room to be able to move around freely, to show off those jukes, and this is also where he breaks the most tackles. For some reason, I feel like it just gives him that strength or that boost that he needs to be able to push over a defender and to gain that momentum that he needs to push his body over somebody or past somebody to break those tackles that he normally wouldn't on the inside. Despite how much fun I was having with him running screen passes and discovering that this was the thing that he absolutely did best, this was just yet another category that wasn't different from the other at all. They both were able to break a crazy amount of tackles. They both were able to show their agility and that really sharp cut he has when he does a double juke, and it was able to get the same amount of yards pretty much for both of the different players. Here I'm going to try out their passing. I didn't go too deep into it, but for the most part he catches just like any other running back. He's not going to be able to make crazy catches in traffic, but for the most part, if you can give it to him 15 yards or under, you should be good. I tried doing a couple streaks and it didn't work out too well, but again, the catching in traffic is the issue, as the issue is with most running backs. If you can get a streak off, the only way that he'll probably catch it is if he is completely open and untouched. Despite, however, they both may catch, once again, another category that they play it identically. They both caught things, they both dropped things. Fumbling was another one that was dead even. I only had 4 fumbles between all of the testing I did. 2 of them were from the 88 overall Gurley, and guess what? 2 of them were from the 95 Gurley. For the most part, I haven't heard of and wasn't aware of a fumbling problem with Gurley, but from these tests, it looked like he fumbled a little more than was comfortable. So overall, the difference between these two cards is non-existent. The only reason that there is a 95 compared to the 88 is the stuff that EA boosts up that nobody cares about, like awareness. I know that in theory it seems crazy saying that an 88 overall card is no different than a 95 limited edition card, but please trust me, there is no difference. Save yourself the coins, get a different running back if you need to upgrade, but it is in my genuine opinion that if you decide to upgrade with that amount of coins, especially to the 95 overall, you are going to be disappointed. Thank you guys for watching this episode. As always, take care, and I will see you for the next episode.